What's up everybody, this is Chev. Welcome to Mod and Tune. So today I'm going to be installing air conditioning into my 1995 Honda Civic CX model. So despite this being a base model, it did come from the factory with air conditioning, so it already has all of the parts under the dash necessary. So I'm not going to get into that too much, but everything else is sitting right here, and this is going to be very similar for any of your golden era Hondas. Approximately 1985 to 2001. One thing to note is prior to 1994 they used a 12A refrigerant system, which is outdated, so you want to avoid that if possible, but if that's what you have, it might work. So anyways, I sourced most of these parts from a VTEC Del Sol, and I'll just show you the compressor here. I'm going to be using a D series compressor. I initially planned on using this GSR compressor, but I didn't realize you needed a different bracket. So the bracket I have is from a Honda CR-V, which fits the D series compressor, and from what I researched, that should work fine for my B16. So anyways guys, we're gonna get right into it, starting from the passenger side and work our way around. I'm going to start by getting this bumper off, so let's just get into it. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to put this AC system into the Civic. So I thought while I had all the parts out, I'd take the opportunity to put it all together outside of the car so I can really show you guys how the system works. So let's just start at the firewall here. So this bigger line, that is the low pressure line. It's going to come out this way. There's one connection right here. Then the next line is going to come down underneath the radiator and then back up to this low pressure fitting. So this is going to connect to this hose here, which then goes into the compressor. So that's going to pressurize the refrigerant and send it through this skinnier line here. It's going to go up here, connect up to the condenser. It's going to go through the condenser, come out this side, go into the air dryer, come back out of the air dryer, and then it's going to wrap back around front here. There's one fitting right there. Then it's going to continue back around, so, and then go back into the dash. So that is the whole system. It doesn't get much simpler than that as far as car AC systems go. One thing to note is this discharge line here. This is the high pressure one that goes into the condenser. For me at least, the original hose I had, which is right here, it did not fit. As you can see, it jets out to the right there. So I believe this is from a CR-V or possibly EK Civic. So I did end up having to purchase this new one off of Amazon. So I'm a little bit leery on the quality and if it's going to hold up, but we will see. So besides that, we also have the electrical. So being that I have a factory AC car, I already have the plug right here. I don't know if this came in every car, so if you do, just let me know in the comments. But you're gonna need the AC harness. So as you can see, here's the plug where it plugs into the factory harness. It's gonna come around the front here, and then there's a few sensors over here. We have the condenser sensor, and then the compressor has its own sensor, and looks like we have another sensor right here. I think that goes into here. And then it's just got these two electrical pieces down here that just bolt to the side. So that is everything needed for an AC install. So anyways guys, I really hope that helped. Let's go ahead and start getting this stuff installed into the car. Alright, so I got this first piece bolted in. There's a spot on the frame rail right there with a nut, so it bolts right into that factory location. Comes along the frame rail here under the strut tower, and that's where it bolts into the firewall. So you do have to take the battery tray out to get access. It is a bit of a tight fit, but it can only really go one way, so it will fit. So anyways, I'm going to get the next piece bolted in. Okay, so I have the next two lines put in. So we have this bigger low pressure line that goes underneath the radiator, and then it comes back up right here. So you can see me moving it. I might have to bend that in a little bit to get it where I need it. And then we have the other skinnier line that goes down in front of the radiator and then across the front here. So I already had this clip in here from when it originally had AC, so if you don't have that, that's where that goes. So yeah, there's the end. So yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and put in the compressor next, the air dryer. I'm going to find the home for that, and then we can kind of get the rest of the plumbing in, and I'll just kind of stop as I go and explain what I'm doing. So alright, so we're one step closer to getting this AC installed. I have the compressor bolted up to the block. I have the air dryer bolted in place. You can see it sits in this hole right here, and it hangs below the fender. Then all we have left to do is to get these lines installed and the condenser. Then we can start doing the fun stuff, trying to recharge and getting this AC to blow cold. Alright, I have all the parts installed. Let's go ahead and take one last look before we charge up the system. So I have the battery and intake put back in. You can see the lines that run along the frame rail there. I took the crash bar off, and you can see this line that runs along the front here. Let's take a look at this area. So you can see the lines in there. It's a bit crowded, but I'll do my best. I also ran all of the electrical. All the sensors are plugged in. The belt is on and tensioned. So real quick on the belt, if you are running a D-series compressor, this is the belt you're going to need. It's one size smaller than the CRV/EM1 belt, but that is the one that I found fits. So anyways guys, that is it for the install. Let's go ahead and get this thing charged up. Alright guys, so a quick disclaimer here. I am not an expert at AC. If you want a really in-depth look at how to do this, I would suggest the Chris Fix AC video. He does a really good job at explaining it. So I'm just going to show you how I do it, and I kind of got to show it from start to finish or else it doesn't make sense. So let's just get into it right away, and I'll show you how I do it. So first things first is we're going to hook up the lines to the system. So just take off the caps. Going to go ahead and hook up the blue one to the low pressure side. And it goes on just like a air coupling. And they're both different sizes, so they can only go one way. So we're going to go ahead and open these up right away by turning this down. And then we're going to go ahead and open these up. And I already did pull a vacuum on this and it was good, but I'm just going to do it again. So anyways, everything's opened up. I'm going to turn on the pump here. We're going to let that run for about a minute. And that's going to create the vacuum in the system. And you can see that's already right where it needs to be at about 29 inches of mercury is the units. So anyways, once you pull that vacuum, you shut off your pump. And we're just going to let that sit for about an hour. And if you come back and it's still under vacuum, that means it's good to go. Alright, so once you've confirmed that the system can hold a vacuum and you vacuumed it out for about an hour, now we can go ahead and add the oil. So there's a lot of different information out there on the internet. This is what I do, so you can do whatever you want, but this is my method. So I'm going to use this PAG 100 with UV dye. Most compressors are spec'd out between 4 to 8 ounces of oil, but there's residual oil in the components already, so there's really no way to really tell how much is in the system without doing some kind of special test, which we're not going to do. So I'm going to stay on the safe side and add a little bit less, probably 2 to 3 ounces out of this 8-ounce bottle, so we have some in there, and that mixes in with the Freon and lubricates the whole system. So anyways, let's get into it. I'm going to show you this trick that I learned off of a YouTube video to add it, because there's a couple different ways you can do it, and this is the way I'm going to do it. So first off is we have to close this high pressure line right here, and we're going to close this one, and then we're going to take this line off. So hold on guys, let me set up on a tripod. Alright guys, so here's the trick. So we disconnected that high pressure line. I have the end right here. This is where we're going to be filling the oil. So we're going to turn the pump on and then just crack this valve right here, and that's going to create a little bit of suction, and that's going to suck that oil right into the system. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Alright, you can hear that suction. Okay, so that worked good. You can see how much I used. That top line is where it was. The middle is just kind of the halfway mark of the bottle. So I probably put in about 2 to 3 ounces of oil. So that's all I want to do. I do not want to overfill the system with oil. And then we're just going to open this back up. And we're just going to let this vacuum run a little bit longer to help circulate that oil through. If you do see a little bit of smoke coming out of this area, that's completely normal. It's just some of the moisture burning off, I think. So anyways, we're just going to let that run for a few minutes, and then we can start adding the refrigerant. Alright guys, so we are all done with this pump, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. Next up is I'm going to close these gauges. And then we're going to go ahead and disconnect the pump here. So we are done with that. Alright, now onto the refrigerant. Most systems take between 16 and 19 ounces. I bought 2 12-ounce cans, so it'll be about 1.5 of these. One other thing that you need to buy is one of these little fittings here that you can pick up at the parts store. This is going to screw in the top like so. And then we're going to hook it up to the line here. And then tighten that up with your fingers. And now I am able to use this knob to stab the can, and we are live. So one quick thing up here is this Schrader valve right here. You're going to want to just poke that with something and purge that air out of the line. So now this thing is ready to go. We have to start it up, turn the AC on, and let her rip. Alright, the car is on and ready to go. These valves are open right now. These ones are closed. So what we're going to do now is just open up this low pressure side and let in the refrigerant. There it goes. And then with the can, you just kind of flip it upside down and back. And then we're just going to fill up the system. So I'm going to do this and I will report back. Alright guys, so I got it all filled up. Got a little bit of an idle thing, but I think I might have added just a little bit too much. So that's no big deal. But if you want a second opinion and you have one of these laying around, you can throw that gauge on there. This one says it's filled perfectly, so we're just going to run it like this for a little bit and see what happens. But let's go inside where it's a little bit quieter. Alright guys, we are in the hatch, blowing ice cold AC right now. So I know you guys are just watching a 10-15 minute video, however long it is, but this is a long time in the making. I've owned this car for well over 10 years, and this has always been at the back of my mind, trying to get AC in this, because whenever I take it out, it's usually 80-90 degrees out and I just get roasted. So that's it guys. I'm gonna wrap this video up there. Hopefully it helped some of you guys out. I know there's not a lot of videos out on these EGs, so yeah, I'm just super stoked. I have a CX hatchback with a B16 that has power steering and AC, so pretty amazing stuff. Again, there is that little bit of an idle issue right there. I think it's just overfilled a smidge, but I'll deal with that. So anyways guys, I'm signing off. Take it easy, give it a like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.